For the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley,
Present.
Isaac Chavez,
Present.
Taylor Crenshaw,
Present.
John Large,
Present.
Robert Stevens,
Present.
Clarence Worthen is absent, Eric Woods.
Present.
Okay, we have the minutes from the May 11th, 2026 regular meeting and the May 26th, 2026 special meeting. Was everybody at the same meeting, or do we need to do these separately?
They're going to have to
Yeah.
be separate
Okay.
because
I'll motion to approve minutes from May 11th.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Isaac Chavez, Taylor Crenshaw,
Aye.
John Large, Robert Stevens,
Aye.
Eric Woods. I believe the 26th meeting, Isaac and Steve were not here.
I make a motion to pass the minutes from May 26, 2026.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Abstain.
Isaac Chavez, Taylor Crenshaw,
Aye.
John Large, Robert Stevens, Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay, were there any public comments? Didn't see any. Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda, we have a public hearing on ordinance number 26-11. So I'm going to recess the council meeting at 7:03 and open the public hearing. Did you want to talk about that any, Carol?
Yes. This is the second reading and public hearing for the additional appropriation number 2611 for $7,000 for grant administration services pertaining to our Okra grant, and also $55,000 for the construction of new basketball courts at TPA Park.
Yes.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions on this? Any comments? Okay, I will go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:04 and reopen the council meeting. Next on the agenda, we have ordinance number 26-11, and this is second reading.
I'll move to pass ordinance 2611 on second reading.
A second.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Isaac Chavez,
Aye.
Taylor Crenshaw,
Aye.
John Large,
Aye.
Robert Stevens, Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance number 26-11 passes on second reading. Next, we have a public hearing on ordinance number 26-12. So I will recess the council meeting at 7:05 and open the public hearing. And this one is on an additional appropriation as well. Carol, did you have something?
This is the additional appropriation, second reading for ordinance number 26-12. It's for costs on replacing a totaled police vehicle and the equipment that goes with that. This is the cost over and above what our insurance replacement reimbursement was.
Does anybody have any questions? Anybody?
I make a motion we pass ordinance number 2612.
Wait, let me close the public hearing real
Oh, I'm
quick.
sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:06 and reopen the council meeting at this time. Okay,
Make a motion we pass ordinance 2612, second reading.
Second.
roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Isaac Chavez,
Aye.
Taylor Crenshaw,
Aye.
John Large,
Aye.
Robert Stevens,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Okay, what about, I don't know where our legal counsel is right now. She was supposed to be back she was supposed to be back at 7. This is amending the UDO for the city of Frankfurt. Were you going to talk on that, Liz? Okay, this is ordinance number 26-08. And I'm going to read.
Yes, good evening. So this is a rezoning request. This is actually land that is not yet fully annexed into the city, but will be soon. This is Tony Del Rio's property. It's south of town. It comes up against Blue Green Drive and then goes across to Krug Road. And I think you're all familiar as you had the annexation ordinance with where that is. So since you've heard the annexation ordinance and it's in that waiting time period before annexation becomes final, the City Plan Commission did hear the proposed rezoning for initial rezoning districts of A residential and C residential. The C residential will be where the duplexes are planned, and the single-family homes will be the A residential. They have sent a favorable recommendation up. Now, the caveat is that until the annexation is completed, you can't actually take action on this. If you take no action, the City Plan Commission's recommendation does take effect as law at 90 days out from when they certified it to you, which will be, I believe, next week. However, I think it's bad policy to let that sneak up on a board. So even though it's not annexed, normally I'd wait to present it till after annexation. I felt like I should bring it and present it, make sure you're aware of it. If you wish to specifically take action on it, then you'll need to figure out a special meeting or something before that takes effect. Otherwise, if you don't have an objection to it taking effect, I do have to get them to sign for me so we can record a couple commitments that were made with that. But I want to make sure you're aware of it, and I want to make sure you have the opportunity to act if you wish to do so.
So we really cannot pass this tonight.
You cannot,
then. So
not
our
tonight.
choices are we can either wait the 90 days or bring this back in July, correct? And then they could.
No, if you wait until July, then it will already have taken effect because it will hit its 90 days, here in
before
a week
that.
or two. So
Okay.
either you would say, okay, we're aware of it, but we would plan to do it anyway. So we will knowingly allow the Plan Commission recommendation to take effect at the 90 days. Or if you wish to discuss it or do something else with it, then you would need to call a special meeting before that date so that you could take whatever alternative action you wanted to take. Or if you simply wanted to approve it yourselves rather than letting it take effect, you would also need a special meeting to do that.
Well, I think, speaking for myself, I'd be in favor of this happening, so it'd be easiest just to let it happen on its own organically here in the next couple of weeks and then go forward like that.
From my perspective, yes, they're all equally easy. It's
Yeah.
just up to you and how you feel about meetings.
Everybody else.
I agree
It's
with
either
that.
a special meeting.
Let's just leave it.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of silly.
But I think it's important if you're
Yeah.
going to do that for you guys to be aware and doing it consciously, not feel like you can't trust us to make sure you get these in a timely manner.
But I agree.
Would it make sense to make any kind of motion just that we are doing that?
That's what I was trying to
It's
figure
up to
out.
you guys. I mean, you can't make a motion to approve it. So I think if
No.
you were going to make a motion, all you could do is just make a motion to state that once the annexation's final, which is this week, I think maybe by tomorrow, but once the annexation's final, then you're just going to allow the Plan Commission recommendation to take effect. You don't feel you need to separately.
I'd make a motion that we
Discuss
take
it.
no action so that we can allow that to take place.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Isaac Chavez, Taylor Crenshaw,
Aye.
John Large, Robert Stevens,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to note on the paperwork that it took effect by default, but that you did take an action tonight to note that you were aware of it. Thank you.
So where is okay, the wheel tax. Sorry, I forgot Reedy. You got to sit through a meeting. I'm sorry. I was going to do you under public comment so you could go home, but sorry.
Make them stay.
I'm going to. That's what I thought. They need to stay a while. Okay, next we have an additional appropriation on first reading that I would like for Brian to talk at some point. We can either go ahead and have you have it read by title only. Do you want to go ahead and do that? And then I'll have him speak and then we can decide from there.
I make a motion that we read that by title only. Ordinance 2613.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Isaac Chavez.
Aye.
Taylor Crenshaw.
Aye.
John Large.
Aye.
Robert Stevens. Eric Woods. Additional appropriation ordinance number 26-13. We had it popped open.
She doesn't have any of our numbers, so. Okay, Brian, would you like to come up and speak to us about this additional appropriation?
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
She has my email. I'm watching it just in case.
Thank you.
Tonight, I'm requesting approval to replace a critical piece of equipment used by the street department on a regular basis. The machine we're replacing is a 1989 backhoe. This backhoe was originally used by sewer department, later transferred to the parks and eventually assigned to the street department. By the time it came to us, it had already been well beyond what would normally be considered as expected service life. Over the last several years, we have continued to keep the machine operating through repairs and maintenance. However, the machine recently experienced a major transmission failure and has reached the point where repair is no longer economically practical. Parts availability is extremely limited and in most cases obsolete. The machine was recently sold at the city auction for $5,400. We explored trade-in options beforehand, but no equipment dealers were willing to accept it due to its condition. The street department relies on a backhoe throughout the year for alley reconstruction, excavation projects, brush cleanup, sign installation, storm response, and other numerous projects. This is not a piece of equipment that sits in the yard waiting to be used. It's an important part of our daily operations. I contacted multiple vendors to explore replacement options, and I currently have a Caterpillar machine available for consideration. It's a 2018 model, 4,600 miles or 4,600 hours of it on it for 90, whatever that says. It's less than 95. 93 too. The machine includes several attachments that will increase our efficiency and reduce labor costs, including a hydraulic hammer. Currently, when we need to remove concrete or pavement, we must transport a tow-behind jackhammer to the site, perform the demolition work, return to the shop, retrieve additional equipment, then return to complete excavation. So the hydraulic hammer attachment allows us the work to be completed with a single machine, single crew, saving both time and labor. The machine should provide the city with many additional years of reliable service while reducing maintenance and repair costs. I want to emphasize that this is not an expansion of our fleet. This is a replacement of a critical piece of equipment that has served the city for nearly 40 years and has now failed. I understand there are going to be questions regarding funding. We do have a proposed funding solution identified, but I will defer to the mayor and the clerk treasurer for the discussion on those funding details. I just would respectively ask the consideration for approval.
And this piece of equipment is also used by the Parks Department, is that correct?
Yeah, they've already used it.
I'm not sure how a street department's run without a backhoe.
Yeah.
We have to have
I'm
a
straight up, be honest.
So I asked for the additional out of our edit funds. Just recently, we did get a supplemental of $108,000 put in that edit fund, along with, I looked at projections prepared by Reedy, and it looked by the end of this year that they were hoping to have a overage of, I think it was $450,000. So that was the fund that I felt was best suited for this purchase. Sanitation, MVH, neither one really has the funds in the to take care of this, so. Does anybody have any other questions or? Okay, thank you, Brian.
Brian, is the pricing contingent on committing real quick, or is it something that we need to do in a two readings, or?
We have to have a public hearing.
Okay,
So
never
we-
mind.
yes.
So we can go ahead and pass it on first reading, and then we'd have second reading, I'm guessing in July with
July.
that public hearing, so.
Okay.
Yes, so right now, what I would need for you to do is if you want to make a motion to pass this on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Isaac Chavez. Taylor Crenshaw.
Aye.
John Large.
Aye.
Robert Stevens. Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance number 26-13 passes on first reading. Next, we have ordinance number 26-14. And do you want to go ahead and pass this by reading by title only? And then we can go ahead and I'll have Kim, sorry, Liz come up and explain that to us.
I'll move to read by title only.
Second.
I heard Councilman Large on that.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Isaac Chavez.
Aye.
Taylor Crenshaw.
Aye.
John Large.
Aye.
Robert Stevens.
Aye.
Eric Woods. Common Council, City of Frankfort, Indiana, ordinance number 26-14. An ordinance amending and restating the fees for building permits, planning fees, and certificates of occupancy.
Okay, Liz, do you want to come up and talk to us about this change and the law that is approaching?
I can. So I'm gonna try not to get too into the weeds here, but I want you to know that if you have specific questions, I'm happy to get into that to the degree that you guys want to. There's been a series of legislative actions passed through the State House over the last 2 cycles that are bringing some changes in planning and zoning in numerous areas. This will not be the first time I'm in front of you this year with things that are related to the House bill that's come through. But this is the first one. There's some restrictions that are coming as some new regulation rolls in relative to fees in building and planning. And because of where we're at with fees currently and how far undercharged they are relative to costs, and knowing that we have a taxation framework structure also coming at us, not related to planning and zoning, just overall, we wanted to review these ahead of when those bills begin to become effective. And some things become effective in July and some things become effective in January. So I'm just going to kind of give you a summary of the goals involved. And I did want to check, Carol, when Alicia sent you this ordinance, we were kind of rushing. She was headed to vacation. I had caught a mistake and then sent her a revision on the attachment. Did she send you the revised attachment?
The fee schedule attachment?
Yes.
Yes, I did receive the revision
Okay,
on
I just wanted to
that.
make sure you had the correct one that included the temporary job trailer for approved construction sites on it.
Counselors, that's the one. It says updated at the top of your paper copy. It would have been in the second little packet that you received.
So as we worked through this, I'm just going to go over kind of the big bird's eye goals that we had. First off, we've been coordinating this conversation between Building Services and City Council and Area Plan. If City Council is supportive of these changes, Area Plan is calling a special meeting next week to adopt matching changes insofar as we can. There are some permit fees that are just different because of the nature of some differences in our rules, and that's okay. But we tried to standardize what we could. So the intention is to follow the city's lead in terms of that, but we have worked together in that discussion. So we wanted to try to work to have more uniform fees where possible between the 6 jurisdictions, 5 with Area Plan, and the City of Frankfort for administrative ease and for more public consistency as people, in many cases, work on both sides. We wanted to try to bring the fees up to be closer to covering the actual costs that the city incurs in providing these services, but still aiming below the average of surrounding communities, just not being the very, very lowest. The goal is to help subsidize less of what's done now off the city general fund as the tighter budget cycles begin to hit towards 2028, and to have the Building Services Office contribute a little more to help cover their own expenses. I think Alicia has something drafted drafted for, it may be coming up later in the meeting, but another state law change is that a specific non-reverting fund has to be set up for fees. So there's going to be a little bit more of a clear path as we go through this transition over the next few years and how this budgeting works between the fees and where they go. We tried to keep fees for residential and ag still a little bit lower and subsidized, especially for things like emergency permits for power when non-payment cutoffs occur, but bring commercial industrial up closer to the averages. We did compare fees with about 8 or 9 surrounding communities as we went through this process. We wanted to simplify the types of fees to make administration easier. And then probably the largest single change that I want to make sure you're aware of is traditionally your fee schedule has charged extra for a certificate of occupancy, but from a staff expense perspective, that's printing a piece of paper. And the zoning ordinance says when you apply for a permit, you're automatically applying for a certificate of occupancy. So we examined the permit fees in such a way that they include those costs. And then we've added inspection fees, which would cover your per trip for somebody going to visit a site, which your average cost when, and we went through this with the Council-matic committee in detail, but your average cost when an inspector or a staff member goes to visit a site is $56.50 by the time you roll in all the expenses. So looking at trying to cover that a little bit more, and that would be added to whatever permit fee based on the number of trips that applicant needs. I don't want to go on about a ton of stuff if you don't need it. I'm sure the Council-matic committee wants to weigh in on this, but I do have all our comparisons and other information. If you have questions for me, I'll just be here at your service.
Does the Council-matic have anything that you'd like to?
These are adjustments that we need to make, and actually, the sooner the better. Sorry. Back too far. But yeah, these are things that we do need to change right away because of the new laws and everything.
Yes, and that's what I was gonna
And
ask.
for the most part, we're still in the low end of average when they looked at surrounding areas. And it's a significant adjustment, but it still keeps us not on the high end. And given everything that's going on with funding and everything else, any place that we can pick up a little is going to help some.
I will note on that biggest change with the inspection fees, Area Plan Commission has charged per inspection since there was first a building inspector in somewhere between the late 90s and the early 2000s, and that has not prevented people from getting permits. Just helps cover some of the cost. Our cost per trip is a little higher because it's, it's further to go, but I want you to know that it hasn't, full adjusted to it. I think it's something we'll want to make sure we put a sign on building services counter letting people know what date it's effective so they can kind of be planning as they give estimates for construction and things for that change.
And if we don't have this passed by is it July
This
1st?
month, no, we don't want to be into July because
Because if we don't, then we're not going to be able to change fees for 5
once
years.
it changed. So the new ordinances, they're effective January 1st, but then there's a clause that states they're retroactive to when their adoption is effective, which is July 1st. So the general consensus for those of us with the American Planning Association is that any fee adjustments that are not going to be fully within what those new rules would encompass need to be done and finished before July 1st. So your ordinance is actually written to note you're adopting it, but then the actual increase won't fully take effect till after the 90 days of publication, but it is adopted ahead.
And part of the legislature language kind of indicates that they don't want us charging more than it's costing us, that we want to be fair. Well, they haven't changed in some time, and we give raises every year. Our supplies go up every year. It makes sense that we need gas. Yeah, it makes sense that we need to move with the times. No, we're not just wanting to raise fees to hurt people. We've got to cover our costs, and this helps us in that direction.
I didn't mention, but built in that would also be new is you are adopting as part of this, and Alicia and I discussed this, and we do not think that the new law prohibits this since it would be an action taken now, not a specific action later. So it's something we think is worth doing unless challenged. Other communities do it, but we're putting in an automatic yearly increase that's not a fee change normally, but just a built-in trying to keep up with inflation. What we did is the new state law states that increases moving forward are supposed to be in line with the consumer price index for all urban customers averaged across 5 years. So even though we're before, we want to make sure if there's a challenge that we can show we were operating within the spirit of that. So I took the consumer price index for all urban customers. I actually went back 5 years, but that got us into COVID, and I felt like the average was falsely inflated. So I took the last 3 years post-COVID and averaged them, and we got 3%. So we're building in an automatic yearly 3% just to try to keep us hopefully from falling behind as far the next time we need to discuss this on a fee.
And I agree with that 100%.
So would the recommendation then would be to pass this on both first and second reading?
Yeah, so for this too, I mean, it's not that you can't do it, but in order to still be operating in the same framework as we are now, you would, yes, either need to waive your second reading and pass on first and second in one, or you would need to call a special meeting to complete this before July 1st. Once you get after July 1st, then there's no question about things being retroactive from January if changes are made.
Does anybody have any other questions for her?
So can we do the
I move that we suspend the rules to pass on first and second reading.
second?
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Isaac Chavez,
Aye.
Taylor Crenshaw,
Aye.
John Large, Robert Stevens,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
I make a motion that we pass ordinance 2614 on
First and second.
first and second reading.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Isaac Chavez, Taylor Crenshaw,
Aye.
John Large, Robert Stevens,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay, so ordinance number 26-14 passes on first and second reading. And somebody will probably publish that. Will you publish that, Carol, or
Or is that something that we need to do in building services? How does that work?
anything on that? Okay.
Yeah, I can do whatever we need to do, but typically I think Alicia would take the reins on that at this point, but
Okay.
if it needs to be done
This
in a
week.
time frame of this week, then I can work with Danielle and we can get that done.
Okay, I'll just reach out to you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
Sounds
So,
good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. 26-15.
It's,
I know what I do with it. Did I give it to you? What did I do with it?
it should be towards the back because it was.
Bill tax. Here. Give me yours. Oh, I just found it. Just
Okay.
found it. Okay, next on the agenda, we have ordinance 26-15. And this is on first reading. Do I have a motion to pass this either by title or read by title only or its entirety?
Move to read by title only.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Isaac Chavez, Taylor Crenshaw,
Aye.
John Large, Robert Stevens,
Aye.
Eric Woods. Common Council, City of Frankfort, Indiana, ordinance number 26-15. An ordinance establishing a non-reverting fund pursuant to Indiana Code 36-7-2.3 for the Building Services Department of the City of Frankfort, Indiana.
And I believe Carol or Danielle, do you know, she wanted to see if they would pass that on first and second. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
She did recommend, Alicia recommended that. We do have to have that in place before budget season is what Alicia's notes said.
So again, we're gonna need to suspend the rules in.
Yeah.
I'll move to suspend the rules and pass ordinance 26-15 on both readings.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Isaac Chavez,
Aye.
Taylor Crenshaw,
Aye.
John Large, Robert Stevens,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
somebody to make a motion to pass this on first and second?
Motion made.
You have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Isaac Chavez.
Aye.
Taylor Crenshaw.
Aye.
John Large.
Aye.
Robert Stevens.
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Okay, ordinance number 26-15 passes on first and second reading. Next on the agenda, we have a resolution, number 26-07, and we're not ready to go ahead and present this at this time. Kimberly said she's still waiting for some information on American Structure Point, I believe, so. The next, we have resolution number 26-09. It's a resolution approving the pilot payment. Should give you any, okay.
Information on that one. This is the Utility Service Board's payment in lieu of taxes, the payment that it makes to the city every year. I believe USB has already been paying this since January 1st. But state statute provides that the payment is due based on the actual value of their infrastructure within city limits. USB calculated the amount of the value of their infrastructure and determined what the 2026 pilot payment should be. This would just be retroactive to January 1st. And the resolution approves the agreement between the city and the USB regarding the payment and gives us a paper trail for State Board of Account audit purposes. The USB has already approved a matching resolution, which approved the agreement. So this resolution today approves the agreement. So we just need a motion to approve the resolution, and then you all can sign both the agreement and the resolution.
Does anybody have any questions?
Which payment in lieu of taxes amount is in our revenue projections for 2026?
It's more than what, do we know what this amount is?
Yes.
It is
Yes.
348,149.
I think four.
That's what I thought we started out with, but did we make the adjustment?
Well, we were wanting to see if we could do 700,000.
Yeah.
Because of all the legislative changes, and then that's whenever we then got Caitlin involved from our office, talking utilities, and we actually did the calculation.
Mhm.
It's less.
Yes. So is this what we use? Do you think the 348?
Not during budget season, but we'll update it.
Okay. Okay.
I think 450.
So just my point is we're gonna have to pull 100,000 off of our, what we thought we had.
Yeah, correct.
I don't have my projections here, but I think we already projected that there was gonna be an ending. You have it? Oh, let's see, do you have the budget summary?
The general fund,
I don't know if I have this.
Yep, there we go.
the general fund looks better than what it did during budget season because circuit breaker that came in lower than what we were projecting. Across the entire, county, multiple units, the AV increases were like 20%. And in our analysis, when we did the legislative impact, we looked at historical years and much more conservative. So that helped on the revenue side. And then, of course, the lit certified shares, the lit supplemental.
Yes.
that you guys
How much
received
did we
also,
put in there?
which was probably 300,000 to 400,000 just in the general fund.
We put
It was 228.
228 that we just put in there with this supplemental.
We did have an interlocal agreement with the county that took some of those funds. I can send,
Even certified shares? Because I thought historically it wasn't certified shares. I thought it was just lit economic development.
that's what the county auditor sent us. They sent it from
We have the 162 with the
public safety.
public safety and the 108 and then 228.97.
So the 108 would not have covered the amount needed.
Yeah, we'll want to check.
It was
In
for a
the
new
edit.
server. I don't know who was in that meeting. Eric, were you in
Spellman.
that meeting? Yeah, we made a commitment to them for a new server for central dispatch.
That was out of the lit certified shares of the
It
general.
did come out of
The
there.
auditor took it out of certified shares.
We
That's
wouldn't,
different than, you guys had a different agreement, I thought, within Lit Economic Development was on $300,000 or something.
I'll send you the interlocal and we can talk about it.
I will tell you that based on the projections that you'd given us, we said there would be an ending balance, which I know this is always projections, I get that, but $3,794,000 at the end of this year in city general. So we're still in pretty good shape in city general. We actually had a surplus between our revenues and our expenditures of $398,000. Did I read that right?
In the green?
Yes. So, yeah, we actually, and then you put the 228 on top of that, you get the 500 and some thousand. So even with, if you only used the 350 versus a 450, we're still 400,000 in the surplus. But our cash balance would be at 3.7. Okay, now where are the ones? Thank you for having that. Are we waiting on a motion?
Yes,
Okay,
unless there is more discussion.
yeah. Any other discussion on this or questions?
Danielle, can you clarify on Alicia's notes? The resolution approves the agreement, so we need a motion to approve the resolution, and then the mayor and myself can sign the agreement and the resolution. Is that
That's
sound correct?
Yeah, approving the resolution would approve the agreement.
Okay.
Is everybody in favor of it?
And then there's an agreement on the back that needs to be signed by,
I think it's just you and myself. I don't.
yeah, and then the utility service board
Yes.
chair, vice chair, and a member, or is it all the members and all the members?
What do you think, Steve?
Not thrilled, but I don't know that we have a choice.
That's what I was thinking. I'll make- Guess I'll make a motion to pass resolution 2609.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Isaac Chavez,
Aye.
Taylor Crenshaw,
Aye.
John Large, Robert Stevens,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 26-09 passes. Did anybody have any unfinished business for tonight? Okay, I think we'll go on to new business, and I've asked Nikki and Jerry from Reedy to be here to talk to us about, I know we had a presentation, I believe at the last meeting, from somebody from
LTAP.
LTAP.
Yeah, LTAP. So I asked them also to use what we think or what they think is gonna,
Yeah, and a lot of this information, I guess it'll be a refresher from, about a month ago, because a lot of the information, is the same. And then I know during the budget process last year, we were looking at, different revenue options, with the legislative changes, and this was one that was explored at that time. Now our revenue projections now are going to be a little bit different than what they were last year, because there was some changes for wheel tax that we'll get into. But we'll discuss what the wheel tax and excise surtax is, what the rate options are, some of the adoption requirements, and then, how's it going to affect the revenues for the city of Frankfort, and then also the taxpayers of the city of Frankfort. So the local option highway user tax, it consists of, the wheel tax and the excise surtax. They are two separate taxes, but you guys have to adopt them both at the same time. Pretty much used for local roads and bridges. As you know, there's fund flexibility within, your guys' stuff and I know you have paving projects and things like that. So it's definitely going to benefit the city. And then also, why are units discussing it now? There is, this isn't a requirement for you to be able to be eligible for the lane mile direct distribution, which I know LTAP talked to you guys about that as well. And then there's always, an increasing need for roads and among, all the communities across the state of Indiana. Slide 4 here, just real quick. The CCMG, you don't have to have, obviously, the wheel tax and excise surtax, but like I mentioned, the lane mile direct distribution, in order to get that direct distribution, you would have to have the wheel tax and excise surtax. LTAP, I know on their presentation, they're projecting 67,000 to 97,000. Now, there's money set aside, but it funnels through different areas, and then what's left over, and depending on who all adopts the wheel tax, excise, surtax, that ends up dictating, how much you guys would get. That is taken then away from your community crossings grant match, your max amount that you would get there if you get any of the lane mileage. It is taken away there, but you would have to adopt this in order to get that. The direct distribution from the state for that grant opportunity. The different taxes on the next slide between the wheel tax and excise surtax. Again, I'm sure LTAP, went over all of this with the council. The wheel tax, the fee can be anywhere from $5 to $40. Excise surtax, anywhere from $7.50 to $25. You can see the different type of vehicles. A taxpayer is only going to pay either the wheel tax or the excise surtax. You won't pay both on a vehicle. We've also got this question a lot. It's per vehicle registration, not per wheel. Also, the county also, their current rates are $25 for excise surtax and $40 for wheel tax. So, and if you guys end up maxing out the rates, and we go into this a little bit in the future slide, there's not going to be an impact to taxpayers within the city of Frankfort. They're still going to be paying the same amount that they were previously. It's just how it's allocated. All of the vehicle registration money, so to speak, would stay within the city of Frankfort versus it being distributed to the county and all the other municipalities.
Does the county give us any of their wheel tax funds now?
Currently, since you guys don't have your own wheel tax and excise surtax, you guys do get a distribution of the county tax that they adopted, which is, I think, like 182,000. I think it might be on one of the next slides here. But yes, you currently do get a portion of that, which we can. It's, I think, in 2 slides, which I'll go through this one real quick. So some of the adoption timeline, and we have a timeline. I'm sure Alicia's going to put together some information and make sure you guys have all that covered. But this would have to be, the ordinance would have to be adopted and passed by August 31st, September 1st, in order for it to be effective January 1st of next year. There's some additional notes at the bottom as far as a copy of the ordinance and a letter of approved asset management must be sent to the BMV and in the Indiana Department of Revenue. So all of that would have to be done prior, as I mentioned, prior to September 1st in order for it to become effective January 1st of next year. And then there are some vehicle exemptions there to the right. And then this next slide, which is the last one, as I mentioned, there wouldn't be a taxpayer impact because, they'd be paying the exact same rate that they're already paying. And then the city does currently collect, based off of, projections, roughly 182,000 of what the county has implemented right now. So there is a rate of $40.25. You guys receive approximately 182,000, but if you do your own rate, the LTAP's projecting at roughly 392,000. So you're going to collect approximately $210,000 more without the taxpayers paying any more. It's just how it's allocated. So, and one thing I do want to point out, which I mentioned earlier, when we were going through the budget process last year, we were looking at different revenue opportunities. Our projections that we had in here were approximately $400,000 in additional revenue, because at that point in time, the law, because this past, March, April, the legislative session is whenever they passed where you can't pretty much do a pancake tax rate. Which makes sense that, the city of, the taxpayers of the city wouldn't pay the city rate and the county rate. But prior, you could do that. So that's why we were showing roughly, 400 grand more in additional revenue in our projections versus now it being 210. But in this scenario, it's $210,000 more, but no impact to the current taxpayers. And that's the last slide. So, I mean, this is the big one in my opinion. And I know that you guys do have some road projects. What is it, Mash Road? I know that was a big one that you guys had talked about. So this would definitely, help out. I know the legislative impacts have been pretty rough on a lot of communities. So this would definitely help.
Where would the revenue go into then?
My understanding, there'll be a will tax fund created and an excise surtax fund created that it would go into.
That's why I didn't know if it was gonna go like into our MVH or.
Based off of what I was reading within the state statute, that's what it mentions. And I think even when we read through, that ordinance, that Alicia put together, that it has creating their own funds for it.
Would the county still be responsible for distribution, or would it come directly to us?
I believe it comes directly to you guys. So no, it wouldn't filter through the county.
From the state.
Yes,
State would send it
correct.
directly to us.
And it's supposed to be, it'd be January 1st when it's effective. And then, I mean, people would immediately start paying it. And then within, I think the statute might say like 20 days or 21 days, it is distributed to clerk treasurer in the state.
If we don't adopt our own will tax, would that affect us on the CCMG? It would on the other one, right?
If you,
If we,
no, you could, it wouldn't affect you on the CCMG.
but it would the other.
The lane mile.
Yeah, but in order to get that, the lane
We would have
mile
to
direct
adopt our
distribution.
own.
Correct, yes.
And it changes how much we receive though if we don't adopt our own.
If you don't adopt your own, then you're missing out on roughly 210,000. The only change is gonna be where it's really the allocation, because the taxpayers aren't gonna pay any more. It's just the taxpayers within the city that are paying it, the money is fully staying within the city.
It's not going to county. So if we adopt this, then basically we're getting twice as much as we get now, a little bit more than that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Would that still counter to what we would get as a portion from the county? So the county would still keep that and we would still be able to generate that 210 extra?
So you're getting 182,000 right now by the county doing their rate. And then you do your own rate, you're getting a total of 392,000.
So the county would not get it and distribute it to us,
Yeah.
a portion of that.
Okay.
It would
So
just
that
come
would be-
directly
Go straight
to
to
you
us.
guys.
Seems like a no-brainer to me that in a budgetary situation that we're in and it doesn't impact our taxpayers 1 cent, that it'd be something we need to do.
That's what I was thinking. I agree. I think it's just It's just obvious.
And we've got to get it done by September 1st. We're not ready to vote on anything tonight, are we? So if we can make sure that we have that ready to present first reading in July, then we can get July and August readings and have it done before September 1st then.
You do have a draft ordinance,
I saw that we
which
have the
Alicia
draft. Yeah.
absolutely recommends that is not adopted. It's nowhere near ready, but
Okay.
you had,
So we can look
the
at it,
council
but-
had requested it for their review.
Well, let's, if any of us have any questions or anything upon reviewing the draft, get a hold of Alicia, but then plan on this being something that we have first reading in July and then we can get second reading in August, and have it done before September 1st.
And Brian did bring to us tonight at Board of Works, the asset management plan, and we approved that. So-
Good.
So
Yeah.
getting things ready, that's what, the direction you decide to go.
I mean, that's my opinion. As everybody else feel that that's appropriate course of action?
One of my previous administrations did do it.
I mean, I'd like to see that be our ability to double our CCMG.
Yeah.
I mean, we could turn that 210 into
Yeah.
420.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it would be a separate fund that we could appropriate for the paving.
Good. All right. Thank
Thanks,
you,
guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any other questions for him? Anything, getting ready for budget? I think we're trying to get some things scheduled to meet with the department heads, myself, Carol. So working on those.
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you. Okay, Youth Civic Engagement Council.
Amy, come on up.
Thank you, Mickey and Jerry. Sorry, I forgot you.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you a lot.
Hi.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Emmy Castillo. Upcoming junior at Frankfurt High School, and I'm the president of the Youth Civic Engagement Council. I'm here to talk about what we've been discussing so far this year. So one of the main things we've been discussing is quality of life and quality of place. We've discussed local parks and identifying spaces that could be enhanced to better serve the community. The second thing we've been talking about was mental health and communicating with the youth better. We talked about a partnership with Healthy Communities and perhaps hosting our own event about mental health. And then our last thing we've discussed is perhaps going to Wesley Manor and connecting the younger generation and the older generations, hosting socials, and just creating events for better engagement amongst our younger members of the community and the elderly. We would want to strengthen the bond between our community and the involvement of not just the youth, but also the elder members of our community. And also, we were also interested in providing volunteer and organizational support for events in the community and festivals.
Did you say how many members do you have right now?
Right now we have 5.
5, okay. Yeah.
We hope to grow next year. Definitely push membership.
Was there anything else you had a part of your report, Emmy? Did you hit all your notes you're supposed to? I was just gonna add a little couple things on what they've been working on. You still have some more?
No.
Okay,
my
so one of
notes.
the things that these students have been challenged to do is they have started conversations that aren't normally held by high school age students. So they've been challenged to have uncomfortable conversations about making an initiative and making a difference and leaving their own mark in the community. One of those things that we focus on is quality of place and quality of life. Very similar to a lot of the projects that have been done in the past, is very much what we're trying to replicate, but allow them to kind of create their own initiative and then create an action plan. So we partner with Winning Communities, Jim Ditto, and the Sagamore Institute. They've been the people who have pretty much supported the Youth Civic Engagement Council since its start in 2014. This club has a total of I think over $20,000 done worth of projects. This group was also a part of creating and helping Mayor McBarnes when they made Prairie Creek Park. Also, all these ideas started on a piece of paper. So with that said, they have started to see what has been done and what has been accomplished by these young students to kind of create the next project, the next wave of generation of young leaders. So we're showing them to get involved with local government. And the reason why they're bringing you these ideas is because once we go into the next year, we're going to start and hit the ground running, and they're going to eventually have one initiative that they're going to pick from what Emmy just discussed. And then from there, with the funding that we provided from the city council, we will show them how to connect with resources, also learn from other key leaders in the community, and that will help allow them to gain information to move forward with whatever initiative that she just discussed.
I'm really excited about hearing what you guys come up with for what you want to see enhanced in our parks and our community, a quality of place. What you guys want matters a lot more than a bunch of people that are a little more advanced in our ages. You're the ones that are going to enjoy and appreciate that. And your input on what it should be is going to be so valuable to us.
I'm a big believer in youth coming up and being involved in politics and being involved in government. I think that's the only way you accomplish things. That's the only way you move forward and think out of the box. So I think what you guys are doing is really a good idea. I think it's going to work well. I'm all for that.
They currently have budgeted $5,000 from the city council, which I think you have for the past, several years. Yeah, it hasn't always been used, but hopefully this year that you will find a reason to use the $5,000. And Isaac's been working on this with Jim Ditto several years.
Yes.
Yeah,
Since I came
yeah.
back from school, I've been the person to run this council, and we had a little bit of hiatus just with changes of administrations and getting people back up to par. So we hope to hit the ground running and hopefully, sustain this group for years to come.
Cool. Have you considered getting a booth at the hot dog festival?
Yeah, that's
right away.
That's like one of the ideas that they've talked about.
When the next
in
board
terms of
meeting, I can
engaging.
bring it up and see if we can't waive the fee.
Yeah, and one of the ideas they've kind of talked about is we want to do things that are least cost effective. And one of the ideas they talked about with participating in the hot dog festival is just creating an area for teens to go out and hang out and eat their ice cream or their icy that they got at the hot dog festival, and kind of have some music or something like that. Something that just gives an area for, teens don't have to walk around the entire block the whole time. They just have a little hub to hang out. And that was just an idea that we've talked about with
If they were to
with
get a booth,
students.
I can't speak for the other board members, but I know I'd be in favor of waiving the fee. And if you need to borrow 10x10 pop-up, I got one.
I will note that for them and send them an email.
Just let me know.
I do.
I think you're going to get some help.
And I know our council's very excited to work with all of you. I know that.
That'd be fun.
Well, we're excited too. So,
And we thank you for your support.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Very good presentation.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, budget hearing dates. Carol.
Councilman Beardsley asked to begin this discussion, and it's just right around the corner. We need to set some dates for our budget hearing. So if you have a calendar handy, you might pull that up. Traditionally, we've done that towards the 1st of August. I think there's been discussion amongst a few people to look at the week of August 10th. We would have a meeting that night. We typically do like a Tuesday, Wednesday, but It's whatever the council's pleasure. If we did the Tuesday, Wednesday, we'd be looking at August 11th and August 12th for those dates, and then we'd have to verify that our financial team from Reedy would be able to attend as well.
You got a BZA meeting that night.
Yeah, on the 12th.
We're usually finished before 5 p.m. We usually advertise to go to 5, but we usually finish up.
Because that'd be the second day.
It's, yeah, second
With-
day is usually not as, sometimes it is.
And we do have a council meeting, Board of Works and council meeting on the Monday of that week, Monday, August 10th.
Works for me.
What do we say?
Do you want to check with Mickey and Jerry and see?
Yep,
if they could
let's,
do 11th and 12th?
they really probably only need to be here the 11th, unless we go over extensively into the 12th. But yes, I can verify with their availability for those dates, and we can shoot for those if that is the pleasure of the council.
So 10 do. That's 10.
So August 11th.
11th and 12th.
Yeah.
And we do have council meeting on the 10th, and this would be daytime.
8 a.m.
Probably.
Usually start at 8 and advertise until 5.
Once we're confirmed, we send an email out.
Of course.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else? If not, I'll take the motion.
Second.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first.
Motion
Okay,
Then Isaac.
thank you.